is Anthony Kunkel, and I just turned 29 on the 7th. It's funny, I know Billy's on the 6th, I'm on the 7th. Fernando's like the 21st or 22nd. We're all like birthday monthers here. So yeah, just turned 29, and what did I run? 2:55 something, 2:55:10, call it today. And yeah, I would have liked to run anything under 2:56 was I'm happy with.
Sure.
And I would have liked it to feel a little easier.
Yeah. But
I woke up this morning just feeling a little queasy, little like my gut was off, and I had a poop break early on, which is really odd for me. So I'll you know, I'm working out the whole like 48 hours before the race right now, and this was a trial run for a few different new things.
Sure.
And trying to get dialed for Strolling Gym on May 1st, and then. Yeah, so didn't anticipate a poop break in there. That doesn't feel good for me. It like ruins my groove.
Yeah.
But then we settled into it, and it was good. It was smooth sailing. It was freaking perfect conditions out there.
Yeah.
And you know, as far as things go, it definitely got wet and hot by the end. But yeah, it's beautiful out here. I mean, it's a gift.
And I mean, yeah, the place where we finish is just ideal here. Black sand beach, sea turtles, and the scenery through this area is gorgeous. The course has rolling hills, long straightaways, and some of those downhills. How did you manage those downhills to not completely wear out your legs so that you had something to last like 5K or 10K?
I think I'm coming in, so I'm running 120 miles this week, so I still have like, I don't know, 6 miles left or something to close out the week. So I'm definitely coming in on tired legs.
Okay.
And I've been like working the uphills more than the downs, and I think I just came in flat enough that I couldn't do damage to myself, really. Okay. I mean, the amount of durability that I have is like way up here, and my speed's down here, and it was, 5:30 to 5:35 pace felt like just a Sunday stroll. It felt so relaxed. But then to get it to like 5:20, 5:25 was taking, I mean, genuinely like 4 times the mental effort. And aerobically, it was like I could talk, I mean, I could sing, I could like half whistle, and it's like, but my legs just did not. It was taking a lot of like coordination, basically, you know the feeling of to just get it that fast. And so I think a few more sessions of, like 440X, just rattling off some steep downhills between now and Strolling Gym, or to be perfectly prepared for this, and I'd have been sharper, much better off. But yeah, and then like I say, I mean, I ran the time I wanted to run.
Yeah. And
because I was like queasy at the start, I just passed on fluids until like 16.
Oh, interesting.
And then took one little, I don't even know, like 40 milliliters of fluid, and it was a little bit of Ketonade and some Vespa and some Morton with some caffeine in it, and it was dense stuff, but it was probably like 15 calories or something.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it wasn't exactly gonna get me too far, and then even that, it was like, all right, that's all we can handle. And so I was like, that was pretty much it. And then took another maybe like 3 swigs about the same size as that one later on, maybe 18 or 20. I guess it would have been like 21. And that was it. So I mean, I did the whole day on like 80 milliliters of fluid or something.
That's probably a big improvement. Just
I don't know. I think it would have hurt less to run the same time.
Yeah.
But I think without being a little sharper, I don't know that my legs weren't going to move any faster. You know, it was like I felt comfortable at 5:30, and like I said, it was taking just this Herculean amount of extra effort to get me to like 5:20. And then occasionally we'd hit like some of the steeper downhills. I was like, oh shoot, like I went sub 5 a little bit, and that was like way late on some of those downhills. And then you hit the uphill, and it's like, oh, there it is. Yeah, it's like it's hot and rolling, and I was like, oh, it's not 50 something anymore. It's definitely 70 something. And so
along that lines, like that last segment, you have this little uphill. You go down, you come back up. Like how? I mean, you go past the finish. Is that pretty difficult while your legs are just dead, or is it just like I'm almost there?
I mean, yeah, I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So it actually was shorter than I thought it would be.
Okay.
It didn't really bother me. It definitely, like, I mean, everything bothered me, but it didn't bother me more than baseline. Cruising altitude was already whatever, as much as I wanted to take. So it was good. And even the uphills at the end, they do slow you down, but it feels good. Like on my ultra runner legs, like it feels good to have a little bit of uphill and get the glutes going and like just get everything firing again. And it kind of like I had a little cramp going on, and that flushed right out when I hit that first little rise. And so it was good to kind of change it up, because some of those downs they're good and they're fast, but yeah, it does. You spend 20 minutes rattling off downhill miles, and it's things. We all three had some of that. Just like something goes out, but muscularly, I mean, nothing went too crazy. It really was pretty smooth sailing.
And then along like training and for right, all sports are pretty much mostly mental, but for sure endurance sports or ultras, they really push you into your mental threshold or your mental strength. do you prepare any way mentally for these events, or is it just done in your training?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is done. It's not that it's purely a side effect of training. It's not that it goes necessarily with training, but training is the perfect venue to do it with. And so, like I've had a few things this block that are, I'm always playing with mantras and things like that. Yeah. And I've had a few things this block, and one of them I picked up from, what's the guy's name that wrote With Winning in Mind? It's kind of a classic, and the book's not very good for endurance athletes. One of the things he says is, when you're doing something that you want to wire in there, you acknowledge it. This is like me.
Yeah.
This is like me to do this. Yeah. And it kind of like it hits you from your your sense of self in there, and you're cultivating that so that when push comes to shove, you're just like, well, this sucks, but this is what I do.
Yeah. True.
And so kind of I do definitely target that deep. The deeper in the brain I can get, the better.
Yeah.
And then of course I think I'm slowly becoming like Mr. Mushroom. First it was like cordyceps and Thrive 6 and immunity and things like that, and I definitely play with a few psilocybes and some psychedelic mushrooms, and I think that has done worlds for my mental game. It's even when I started really hurting today, to instinctually go to a place of joy and say, oh yeah, this is the point. Like I'm out here not to crush people or to get fast or to like win the meager prize money we have in this sport, or fight anybody for a $20,000 a year contract. Like that's not going to motivate you, and if it does, you are so petty.
Yeah.
It's like I'm out here to put myself in uncomfortable positions and find joy in that. And so to have all these things helping me to just instinctually go to that place. Where it's like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the point. Is the second it's just like, yeah, this is the point. This is why we're here. Cool. This is what we're looking for. This is what we were waiting for. And then that's also why I'm okay dropping out of races. It's like sometimes you're like, I cannot find joy in this. I'm in over my head. I know I could finish, but that's not what it's about for me. Like I'm just cultivating hatred and like, and so bail. It's like that's. It's important. It's important for me to take it as if this is life or death. Yeah. But then at the same time, it's not, and that's the beautiful part.
And but the mushrooms, is that something that you do in some of your training as well, or is it just something you just do like self-reflective?
I will typically do a shakeout run. I have what I call a run sitter. So it's like it's typical to have a trip sitter. Trip sitter for a mushroom trip, meaning a sober person at ground level who knows what you're going into, what you're coming out with, like what you're after.
Yeah.
To sit with you, and they might manage a playlist, they might do nothing, and they might hold your hand while you sob, they might make you not feel uncomfortable when you're laughing, and it's like, and I usually schedule someone very punctual, because when I don't have a concept of time, I want to make sure someone else does.
Sure.
And someone very punctual to say, okay, I'm launching off at noon, I'd like you to be here at 3:30. And then they'll take me for a run somewhere. And I think that's been huge for my mental game, to be able to connect with myself and to do something that you're so, because it is kind of like a regressive thing, right? Classic psychedelics are this regressive thing of you, it's like childlike brain, right? And so to have that kind of mind with something that you do so much, 20, 30 hours a week, whatever it is, and something that you're thinking about all the time, and you're watching video and you're coaching people, and it is more than a full-time job for me.
Complete immersion.
And and it's a language that I'm speaking, and so to do it, and then to have Cosmo, our brand new baby, to have that kind of brain with like this 30-year-old almost body that can just fucking crush. It's just like and so to kind of that, I think that helps me. That helps me keep in touch with that place of. It really is. It's like compulsive joy. Yeah. It's like you see it and you push and you can't even wince. Even your wince just becomes a smile because you're like, I am powerful. I mean, this is amazing that I get to do this, and that the three of us get to come out here and just like have such a gentleman's day out here of just like. I mean, I wanted to see Billy so bad at that turnaround to know that he was going to get under 3 hours, and I wanted to stop seeing Fernando. Once I couldn't see him, I was like, dude, I hope he runs 2:39. I hope he runs a world's best so that people have to gripe about our course. And it's so beautiful to have that in a sport where we really are rooting for each other. I mean, all of us. There's so much love up here, and I mean, you can feel it, and it's like it's so great to just be able to hug somebody that you just did battle with all day long, and it's so pure, and it's something we don't get to do in the modern world. It's like the closest thing that I would compare this to is if you and me could be best friends, but then we would just fight to like the death, and then somehow it's like Valhalla, right? It's like that kind of thing.
We'll have
beer we just crush each other's heads in with rocks, and then we have a beer.
Cool. Maybe two more questions.
Yeah.
You have anything that you would tell people who are thinking about getting into ultras or endurance that, you know, what's the hardest thing sometimes getting on the line, but any advice you have for anybody who would want to do this race or come out here or do anything similar to this?
Well, definitely come out here. Big Island, I mean, this is a freaking gem down here. Even it's been great showing Fernando around and him being like, oh my God, that mountain's almost 14,000 feet.
Yeah.
I was like, I know, dude. Like, we're both from Colorado. I was like, that's what I said. I was like, you can pick. I mean, there's whatever it is. There's 28 biomes or whatever it is out here on this island, whatever the right, you know, niches. And yeah, so definitely get out here if you can. I mean, as far as Big Island stuff goes.
What about
for ultras, I would say slow down. You know, slow down and enjoy the training process. It's a gift to be able to spend an hour out there or 2 hours out there, 3 hours out there, and that's what it is, you know. And it's kind of irrelevant if you're faster or slower or what have you. And you know, I've had so much fun being out here for the last whatever it's been 9 weeks now, and training with Billy, and both of us are big on just training slow. I think when in doubt, slow down. You know, that we know from an exercise physiology point of view that there is a speed limit. There are speeds at which you're running too fast to benefit you optimally. There doesn't really seem to be a speed minimum. So, you know, if easy today is 12-minute miles, then it's 12-minute miles. You know, I know you've trained in Kenya. Those dudes, when they don't feel good, they'll do 14-minute miles. And they're world beaters. It's like,
they crawl. They're like the granny walk, as you call it.
I think we get this like oomph here where it's like anything over 7 minutes a mile is like not even training, and it's like so far from the truth.
Rules of
and so just don't fear running slow, and if anything, slow down on purpose. Slow way down, and you'll recover quicker, and you'll be able to train more, and then that volume will make you faster. And just trust that.
Okay, one last question. If you had to choose between one, Bitcoin or Dogecoin?
I don't actually know Dogecoin.
Okay, then you take Bitcoin.
Should I be in on that?
Maybe.
I think I recently accepted that Bitcoin isn't only for techies. I was like, oh, okay, this is actually the future, huh? This is actually a thing.
Yeah. So you've heard about it, and you at least know a little buzz about it. That it's not.
I know Bitcoin. I know Ethereum. I know my buddy was telling me there's one, and I really like this, like ideologically, as far as like investing in something that I believe in. That, like, let's say right now I'm not home. I'm not on my Wi-Fi router in Durango.
Yeah.
My neighbors, if their streaming is going slow, they could route through my router. And just throw me a few cents in some automatic, some, what do you call it? Cryptocurrency. Yeah. There we go.
Interesting.
And that's just going to be a crypto. And I was like, oh, so that's not going to change? Like that's just going to be the currency in that? It's not, can't go anywhere? Like, you know, it can't just like crash? It's like, oh, okay, maybe I like this.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.